Hey everybody, my name is Michael Forrest and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now before we get going, if I can ask you all to stay off of this raised up platform here, this way nobody really, blocks this giant display behind me, right? Or, I got a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? And let's see, slides are not working well today. Okay, cool. Yeah, there we go. I think that works. Right now, in case you're not aware, Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but all are welcome. So if you're on another device, feel free to hang out and pick up some information that helps our growing Quest community because we have new Quest users coming into Altspace each and every day. Now, before we get going, if I could direct your attention to your menu wheel in the lower left, you're going to notice at the very top of that menu wheel is a microphone icon. When that microphone icon is clear, that means we can hear what's happening in your environment. And so we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red, and this means that you're muted. This means if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? Feel free to answer them because we're not going to hear any of that, right? Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't participate. You're going to notice that you have a pink cheek smiley face in your menu wheel, and when you click on that, your emoji panel will open up in the air in front of you, giving you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. If, for example, I share something really deep, something really powerful, something meaningful, and it tucks you down low and it starts to build up, right? You can just let it out, just like that, right? Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come out, and we break into It's Quest Time the musical, and you're all very impressed. You can throw up the applause that I live for, right? Take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, now, also, if I ask you guys a yes or no question, you can say yes by going like this. You can say no by going like this, by frowning like that. You can also, if I say something funny, you want to show me you're laughing, you can do the silly face emoji here to show that. And then there's this. This is not how you ask a question. This is how you get my attention to the event that something's gone wrong. So if I'm up here and I'm waving my hands around, you're like, wow, the guy looks like he's really into it, but there's no sound. And it looks like he's talking, but no sound's coming out. What's going on? Right? Well, that's the kind of thing you're going to want to let me know about. Or likewise, if my moderators get carried away and they decide they want to take revenge upon me by setting the stage on fire, don't laugh, they've done that. Okay, that has happened. And that is the kind of thing I want to know about. Although if I don't notice that the stage is on fire, I think I've got a problem. All right, you can also press the X in the middle of the emoji panel to close this panel, but it's a good idea to keep it open because it gives me feedback. But more importantly, it's going to let the people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, right? And you may not agree. You might be like, well, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can totally do that because this is VR. You can pretty much stand where you want to, except on the stage area, because, that's the agreement that we have, right? Between me and the audience. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have now, while you got those emoji panels open, I want to ask you some questions here just so I have an idea of how to set out. How many are you on a quest right now? Show me some hearts if you're on a quest right now. Anybody on a quest here today? Anybody on a quest? Let me see. All quest users showing me some hearts here. Okay, more than a few, that's good. How many of you are new Altspace users? You recently started Altspace. Like you're kind of new to the experience. All right, a few, that's good. Welcome to Altspace, that's awesome to see. How many of you are crossing over from an Oculus Go to a Quest? Okay, and how many are new to the Quest, like outright, like you're brand new to the experience, and some of the controls are like, kind of still a little bit uncomfortable. All right, cool. That's good to see. All right, it gives me some idea of how to head out. Right, because I like to talk. When I was waiting for my Quest, listen, before I got my Quest, I was on an Oculus Go, and as some of you know, that means I had one controller, right? So I was in Altspace, and I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to talking with my hands a lot, right? And well, on the Oculus Go, I was only talking with that one hand, and I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could. So I could not wait to get this second controller so I could start doing this, right? But then when I took a look at the controllers when they arrived, those are a lot of buttons. It's a lot to take in at first, right? And and listen, while it is a lot to take in, you will get used to it fairly quickly. So if you're just starting out, don't let this overwhelm you. But I do like to go over some of these controls. This way, you can, while everybody skills up, there'll be some movement exercises if you're already comfortable. Because look, if you're here today, you already have some of the basics down. The left thumbstick is going to move you around like this. The right stick's going to turn you in these circles. And when I combine them, I can get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If everybody could do that, just go in these big, wide circles, because when I look out into the audience and I see everybody doing this, it looks like you're ballroom dancing. Let me say, all right, cool. All right. Yeah. That's neat. I love seeing that. I always say I wish you guys could see out and see what I'm seeing when this is going on. And now you can. We got a YouTube channel where you can look at it if you want to. If you look up, you'll see Raven Eye floating in the air above you all. And that's our YouTube camera because it's going on YouTube. So if you want to wave out to YouTube right now, like we got Panda84 giving 2 thumbs up. If you want to just wave on out and be like, hey, YouTube, how's it going? We got Joe in here. We got Hummingbird in here. We got Brian in here. We got Mythic in here. We got Steph over here to the side. We got a lot of people in here. Come on in, Altspace. It's fun. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, now, some of these buttons we're going to take a look at. All right, now, the first we're going to start out with is on this right control and the left control. On the side, your third finger hits the grip button. This is going to allow you to interact with your environment. That's how I'm grabbing this laser pointer right here, right? And if I wanted to, I can switch it to my other hand like this, or I can turn my hand and make it spin in midair like that. This is how you're going to grab basketballs, fireworks, all the things that there are to interact with in Altspace. Also, but occasionally you're going to notice that some of these buttons on your controllers, they're going to have different behaviors depending on the situation. Like if you're in the World Beta program, by going in your main menu and going to settings and enabling world beta, you'll be able to actually build worlds with your own 2 hands, right? And when you do that, you're going to notice when you grab an object in the world editor, if you go to turn, you're going to notice all of a sudden that object gets really big, right? And that's because when you're holding an object in the world editor, the behavior of your right thumbstick is going to change. When you move it left or right, the scale or the size of the object is going to get adjusted. If you move forward and back on your right control, it's going to push the object away or it's going to bring it closer to you. Okay. Another control that works a little bit differently is this left thumbstick. Now, you know how this moves you around, right? First time I came into Altspace on a Quest, I went straight to the campfire to test it out. And I was feeling pretty good. I felt like I was walking on air. And then I looked around and I noticed all the avatars were much shorter than I was. And I'm like, what's going on? On the Quest, you need to worry about your vertical height more than you do like on like a 3-dot device like the Go. You have to, because if you move up, your avatar is going to move up. If you move down, your avatar is going to move down. If somebody's willing to change your vertical height for me, like we see Mythic, come up here so we can get you on camera doing this because that looks really awesome. Come on over here. Right now, you can see that Mythic's floating up in the air. That's like how I felt that day. Now, Mythic, show everybody what happens when you press down on that left thumbstick. Boom, just like that. So if you feel that you're too tall or too short, just press down on that left thumbstick like it's a button, because it is, and that's going to recenter you. Here's a little tip too. If you're looking down when you recenter, it's not going to set you upright because it has to do with where your head is. So you need to look straight ahead when you do this if you want to be perfectly centered to the ground and have your feet on the floor. But if I look down and I recenter and I look back up, you're going to notice my feet are off the ground a little bit, right? But I can fix that easy by looking straight ahead and pressing my left thumbstick, just like that. All right, now on your left controller, you have your trigger button on the, now listen, I know this seems like a lot of buttons. It does, right? But some of these buttons do the same thing. This select button here, this right trigger button, and if you have your left pointer enabled, this select button here, right? Those all do the same things. If you hold down your right trigger button and move your hand to the crown, that's how I know everybody's name so quickly. Because when you do this, you'll see everybody's name tag appear above the head. That's how I know that that's Joe. That's Bullface in the green there. We got Mythic who helped us out before. We got Jose over there just by the door, and we got Spring over there over in the hallway lobby area, coat room, or I don't know, you call that a coat room? Yeah, I guess you can call that a coat. But yeah, so some of these buttons that'll do the same thing. That makes things a little bit easier. Also on your left control, you have this trigger button here. And this trigger button, if you're walking along or you're flying around in Altspace and you squeeze this down, it's going to cause you to go fast, right? I can run down off of the stage into the audience and I can start going in a big circle. And if you all join me, we can maybe make like a hurricane. Maybe we can make a tornado. Maybe we can make it rain. All right, let's see. I'm going to take a look to see how you guys are doing here. Let's see. All right, that's not really a circle, people. That's more like a, all right, sometimes I say it looks like a figure 8, but that wouldn't be honest. This is, I mean, you're moving fast. That's a good thing. All right, what if we go side to side? Anybody getting dizzy yet? I don't want anyone getting dizzy here. Don't get sick. All right, side to side, maybe get like the motion of a boat going on here. All right, still, it's really unorganized. It's sort of like a wave. Yeah, kind of wave-ish. We should do that. We should we should go do a wave. Where we all like, from one side to the other with our hands up like that. That would be cool. We should go, hey, you want to try that? Come up to the stage right here, right? Come like line up on the stage. Let's make a line of people right here. Just get right next to me. Let's try this. I've never done this before, YouTube. So if this doesn't work out, I'm sorry. I'm experimenting. All right, everybody's in a line right here. So I want to see you on the end here, Panda84. You put your hands up above your head like this, right? All right, now you. You do it, Mythic. Now you. Keep your feet. All right. Full face. Keep going. One hand counts. Steph. All right, now you, Joe, Jose. This is not going well. All right, Joe. All right, it's kind of slow, Bosun. Now the other way, really quick this time. Go up, down, up. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna check this on video because this isn't looking like it's real organized. All right, we're gonna have to, you know what? Maybe we should do this in the beginning. We gotta rethink the choreography here. It's all wrong. All right, now let's see some of the other things you need to be aware of here. Listen, if you're having a room scale experience, right? You're standing up and you're having a room scale experience, and what's gonna happen is sometimes occasionally you're gonna walk out past your menu. And that's always the time for some reason when somebody says, hey, open your main menu. And you're like, oh man, where is this thing? And you start looking around for it. You're like, I don't know where it went, right? And it's like always behind you, right? You're like, oh, there it is. It's going to get old real quick. And it does. But you got to remember that in your left hand, you always have the main menu with you at all times. On the flat button on the very bottom of your left controller, that's going to open and close your main menu. Right? I'll be honest, I haven't touched that blue and white triangle button in months. Anytime I need to open up my menu, I just flick my hand out like that. You don't have to do it, but I think it gives us some style, right? Flick my hand, my menu just closed. Flick it again, my menu's open. Now my menu's closed and I can see you all. Just like that. Oh, I see you doing a hand flick. Yeah, that does look cool, Ben. I like that. That's awesome. All right, cool. Now, the other thing you got to keep in mind is you have a teleporter button on each controller, right? Now, I'm hoping you're in a line dash teleport transition because it's just fun. It feels like you're flinging yourself across the room. But even if you're not, join me up along this wall here, right? And we'll make a line over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold down on our right teleport button and aim at the floor. And when we do, we're going to see a circle on the floor. That's our teleport target, right? And if we aim across the room by that brick wall, as soon as we let go of that button, boom, we get thrown right across the room. Everybody teleport over to me. Quick, while there's still time, we can make it. All right, now, if you hold down your left teleport button and aim at the floor on the other side, you can throw yourself across the room again just by letting go. Boom, just like that. And another thing you can do is you can aim both teleport circles at the floor, make an X with it. And as soon as you let go, you'll zig and you'll zag, just like that. A little zigzag action. Another thing that you can do is if you can stand up and face the stage here and start backing up and hold down that left accelerator trigger and teleport at the ground, you can do the Altspace moonwalk, which hopefully is not a copyright violation of any kind. All right. Another thing you can do, and I learned this recently because you're always picking new stuff up in Altspace, is one time, it was a couple of weeks ago, I think, maybe a few now at this point, but I was standing down here. I come off the stage a lot. It's part of my thing, right? And I'm in the audience and I'm talking and I need to get back on the stage, but everybody's kind of crowding me around, right? And what I did was on reflex, I didn't even think about it, is I reached my hand out like this behind me and boom, I teleported backwards. You can do that. You just put your hand over the back of your head and let go, and boom, you're teleporting backwards. It's like the coolest thing. And the way I just did that on kind of reflex, the first time, like I was at the Universe once and they had a world that was like very large world at that point. And I walked up to the edge of the world when the event was over and I'm like looking off the edge, right? And I went a little bit too far, right? And I started to fall. And as I'm falling, I look over and there's this cliff and I reach out with my teleporter and I locked onto that cliff. And as soon as I let go, I was thrown onto that cliff. And you know what, right? I realized in that moment I was finally starting to get a handle on the controls, and you will too. There's going to come a point in time where you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a point in time where these become your hands. You won't think about them anymore. If, for example, I go, hey everybody, look at that window, right? All I have to do is I'm not thinking about how I'm pointing. It makes more effort to explain how I'm doing it. And just so you know, if you squeeze your grip button, that's your third finger down, on either controller, you're going to go into that point motion, right? And you can use this in a variety of ways. You can give me like a Brooklyn hello. Everybody go like this, give me a Brooklyn hello. Right, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I see you doing it. That's awesome. You can put them together like this and hold them up high and give me the Altspace logo, a little Altspace love, just like that. Or you can be different. And this guy looks like there's going to be a fight there. You don't have to take that loyal menace. What you can do, right, is if you squeeze your index fingers, right, just like that, while holding your grip button down, you're going to get 2 thumbs up. You're going to be like, going to give 2 thumbs up. And then let's say you don't like you doing what he's doing. Give him 2 thumbs down like this, right? Maybe you're not sure. You can't make up your mind. Give him a little both. Maybe go like this. Or maybe, right, you can touch your thumbs to the buttons without pushing down. You can even touch them to the thumbsticks. And your thumbs will go down like this. You can combine that into a cool dance move. Or you can be like Edmund Manrick here and be like messing with him. He's like very patient. I don't know why you're dealing with this. See a friend of yours? How's it going? Oh, he disappeared. Oh, he teleported away and saved himself. I distracted him. Ha! He's free. All right, now we do like that, right? Hey, give us some of that. Here we go. Here we go. Like that, right? All right, cool. Well, my point is, listen, the best way to learn this stuff is by mirroring people. When you see people doing something that you yourself like, you want to participate in it, try to copy them. Like last week, we had somebody that kept going like this, right? In the audience, they kept going back and forth. And I thought that was cool. So everybody started doing it, right? And then we all started going like this. We had to Altspace some aerobics going on here. Because I got to tell you, after doing this for a few minutes, I started to get tired. I did. All right. So what else we got going on here? Some other buttons you need to be aware of here. Let's see. Yeah, that's the basic. There's one other button that's very important. Don't press it now because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it, right? But you're going to notice on your right controller, you've got this flat button. You got to think of that as your eject button. This is the best way out of Altspace. It really is. Somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? Right? Dinner's ready. And you're like, oh, okay. And you press that bottom and you're going to be confronted with a choice to either quit or resume. If you press resume, you're going to be taken right back into Altspace. So if you're at the Universe and you're dancing around and you get so into it that you accidentally press that button and all of a sudden you see the Oculus home screen, you hit resume, you're going to find you're right back in Altspace. You never left. And you're going to be dancing around going, I don't think anybody saw that. I don't think Unity saw that. I don't think she's going to destroy me with her awesome admin powers. But, you can keep on going like that. I think, but this button is good for for when things go wrong. Okay, you're going to notice like occasionally in Altspace when you turn your head and the whole world moves with you, which can make you feel kind of sick. Doesn't feel good. You're going to need a way out in a hurry. And you press that bottom button, you press quit, you restart the app, and this is going to take care of most of your problems in here. But occasionally, sometimes that's not going to work. And you can be like, Michael Forrest lied to me. I'm pressing that button and nothing's happening, right? Like let's maybe say that you look to the left and you see this black void over there, and you're like, uh-oh. And then you look to the right and there's a black void. You look up, you look down, there's a black void in every direction. It's spreading, and all of your friends are like frozen in space. They're all being like very dramatic and they're all frozen in time like that. And something's gone seriously wrong. So let's do like Michael Forrest. So we press that flat button on the right controller, and nothing happens. What do? Well, it pays to know how to restart your device while it's still on your head. And I say this because I used to, when I first got my Quest, I would take my device off to restart it. And you know what would happen? Once I took it off, if it wasn't in a charge cycle, it wouldn't light up when I had it plugged in. And then what would happen was I think that it was broken, right? So I got in the habit, and I can't recommend this enough, that you restart the device while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is, you take your index finger and you slide it on the side of your device, and you're going to feel that power button, right? The way you turn it on and off. Right now, you can counterbalance with your other index finger, put them together, and in Altspace, look down like you're concentrating. And after about 4 seconds, you're going to concentrate so hard, your avatar is going to disappear, and you're going to get plunged into the darkness. But don't let go, man. Keep going. 10 seconds go by, and you start wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long to restart your device? I don't know. 15 seconds go by, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a long time. You wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds go by, you start thinking about life. The big questions. And then all of a sudden, right, the Oculus logo will emerge from the darkness like the bat signal, right? And then it'll start to pulse. And when it does, you just take your fingers away like this, right? And your device will start normally. And this is going to solve most of your problems, not just in Altspace, but across other apps too. Like when things go wrong, it's a really great way to kind of just get a fresh start, clear out the temporary memory and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes something more serious may happen. In that case, it pays to be aware of the factory reset. Now, the factory reset is only to be used in extreme emergencies because you're going to lose all your photographs if you use this. In my case, I came out of Altspace one time and I had this message on the screen that said, Oculus Home is closing. And it was a blue OK button. It was the only choice. So I said, OK, right? And then the screen said loading. And I'm like, what's going on? Right? So I did the whole deep concentration pose, right? And, I get back in and it still said loading and something was up. So I went to talk to Google about it. Who's my friend? We go way back. Google said a lot of people are having this issue. And the only way to solve it was a factory reset. Now, that was no big deal to me because I just had Altspace installed. But if I had any pictures or other apps, I might even lose my Beat Saber scores. So it's serious business. Only use this in an emergency. All right. Now, another thing, if you're here today, you're already familiar with the Guardian system, okay? Because you've done the tour, you've danced with the robot, you played with the blimp, it's a good time right there. But you can actually use the Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace. Before I show you how, let me just warn you, because you see this happen a lot. Somebody will be walking along in Altspace and all of a sudden they go bam, and they hit a wall. And you can actually see it. You can see their avatar bump off the wall. You don't want to injure yourself, and you don't want to damage your equipment, right? So always try to lead with your hands when you're messing around with Guardian. Listen, I mentioned getting dizzy earlier, like when you move your head and the whole world moves with you. When that happens and you're getting that dizzy feeling in VR, what you can do, even if you're not on a Quest, you can hold up your hand to your face like this, right? Just focus on that hand for just a moment until the dizziness passes, and then take away that hand and take in the world around you until that passes, right? That can help a lot. But another thing, right, that can really help with the dizziness is your Guardian system. And the way this works is like, let's say, all right, you walk up to the edge of your Guardian system, right? You're like, say, to your real world wall, or where you hope it is, right? You stick your hands out like this, and you'll see that grid appear in the air in front of you. Now, while I'm holding on to that grid, I can still touch my thumbstick, so I can move my avatar around in VR while I'm still facing my real world wall. And I can line it up with this display here. And as I've got it lined up with this display here, right, it's like anchored onto it, and I walk back and I see how that feels, and that's pretty cool. It's looking good. And all of a sudden, oh no, I've fallen off the stage, and I'm in the audience. Right? Let's say the audience goes hostile and you all turn against me, right? And you all want to make me dizzy. So all of you, grab, like mess with my face and try to make me dizzy. Give me your worst, people. Let me see what you got. All right. I'm seeing hands, but I can still see this big display. That's pretty good. Wow, Hummingbird, that's impressive. But I can still see the display right behind you guys. I'm not really missing my words here. I'm having no problem talking. I'm completely comfortable, right? And that's because I can still see that display. It's giving me an anchor to the real world, right? And it doesn't have to be something big like that. Let's see the edge of the stage here. Maybe this is about the same height as your real world desk or your real world table, and you can use that as a reality anchor. And this is going to prevent you from being overly dizzy, especially if you're new to VR. This can help a lot. Another thing that you can do is you can switch from a stationary experience to a room scale experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace. You're going to notice, if, for example, I'm up here, right, and I'm like, you know what? I got another event after this, and I've done 300 events in Altspace, and man, I'm tired. I don't think I can go on anymore. What I can do is I can go up to the edge of my play space there, right? Make sure I got enough room for my head to pass through and I can pass through and my camera will go off and I'll be able to see, oh, there's my coffee. I can drink my coffee. I can throw down the mug like that. And then I can look over there and see I've got a chair. Also, they have a new experimental feature where you can, if you have that turned on, you can double tap the side of your headset, right? You just tap, tap, and then all of a sudden I can see the real world. I'm like, there's my chair, and I can run into it, right? And as soon as I sit down and get comfortable, I can press the blue button to say that I want to have a stationary experience. And when I do, all right, I'm going to find not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never actually left. The only difference is my avatar is going to be down here now, and all I do is press on that left thumbstick, and boom, I pop right up. Everything's good now, right? So it works in that direction, but it also works in the other direction. One time I was moderating an event, right? And I felt like getting up and walking around. It's a big deal for me. So I get up and I think I'm just going to, walk right into my Guardian, right? Didn't work out that way because occasionally when there's a change in light level or for one reason or another, your headset loses its position, it says, draw me another battery. That's no big deal. But when there's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a pretty big deal. And so I start drawing out the room's boundary, right? And I'm drawing it out there and I'm like, why of all the days that I have to moderate for an admin did it have to be today? And I'm like drawing around. I'm wondering why. Play space is so big. And as soon as I close that loop, the grid comes up out of the ground and I find not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. All anybody saw was me frozen like this, having an out-of-avatar experience. Now, I usually pause for this bit, and one time I did, and I lost my connection while I was doing this pause, and everybody in the audience is just staring there looking up and going, look at him. He is so dedicated. He's so into this pause. It's a little overly dramatic, don't you think? But what really happened is I disconnected, I disappeared, I came back less than 2 minutes later, and it was actually kind of funny. Everybody could laugh about it, and every time I do that bit now, it reminds me of that. All right, now one thing you can do that's really pretty cool is if you go up to the edge of your Guardian system, right, and you walk up to it, and you make sure you got enough room to stick your head through, all right, what's going to happen is if you do it really super slow, I mean, you don't want to hit your head in the wall, make sure you got your hands through, make sure you got enough room. But as soon as you stick your head through it, if you do super slow, there's a spot where you can see both realities at the same time. Now, this is not useful, but this is cool. Because when you see your Altspace avatars in your real world environment, you're going to get an actual sense of how tall they are. Like avatars are actually about 6 feet tall and they're a lot wider than you would think. But you can really see this when you see them standing in your living room or your office or wherever you VR from, right? You'll be able to see those differences. Now, one of the great things about the Quest is it just works. This doesn't mean it can't work better. There's some cool accessories that you should be aware of. Like, for example, those earbuds that kind of hang down from the sides. I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but I like to think when I'm wearing these, I look fancy, right? Because they're like kind of like VR earrings, right? First time I wore these, I came into the campfire, I tested them out. Now, up to now, I thought the sound on the Quest was great. All right, there's no real feedback. It's a rich, full experience. And then I came in with these things on, and I wasn't expecting much, right? But I had to try them. So I went into the campfire, and do you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire? Man, I was in Altspace for like a year, and I didn't know that. I went over to that railing there, and you know what? On that railing, there was, there's the sound of rushing water. I didn't know that either. Nobody told me this. And what happened was, it turns out there is a lot of like rich and ambient sounds in Altspace that can make the experience way more immersive. Can't recommend that stuff enough. Now listen, there's a lot of people that think the Quest is uncomfortable. I know people that have actually returned the Quest because of this reason. And I think the reason is because, Oculus doesn't advertise this enough, but there is a breaking in period when you get your headset. Right. So in the beginning, like I got a sore on my forehead from it. Right. I know people that, and they'll like try to put on battery packs and counterbalances to change the weight of it. And all that stuff is cool, but don't do it for the first couple of weeks, because what's going to happen is if you modify your device too early and then it goes through the breaking in period, then the balance is going to change again. Right. And then you're going to be like, well, this thing just isn't comfortable. And it's not true. If you allow for the breaking in period, there's going to come a moment, right, where these just become your eyes in the same way that these just become your hands. And after a couple of weeks of use, if you find it still uncomfortable, that's the time to start messing around with these external battery packs and counterbalances and all that stuff. You also have these prescription insert lenses that you can put on them that'll protect your eyeglasses and your VR headset lenses, because listen, if you scratch either of those, that can be pretty expensive, right? So maybe it's like a preventive measure. And speaking of protecting your headset, you have this travel case. Listen, the box that the Quest comes in is fantastic. It really is. But if you're going to be moving around a lot, you're going to need something a little bit more, better. More better. I got to rethink that bit. But you got to want to protect your device, because listen, if something happens to your device, like you leave it on the table and some sunlight hits it, it damages your lenses, it's not going to feel like losing your toaster. Right? It's going to, especially if you're spending a lot of time in Altspace and you've made some real friends in here, you're going to experience the loss of your device as an actual loss. I've seen it happen. It is not cool. So take care of your device. If you want to try any of these products, you absolutely can by going to altvr.com And there in the upper left, you're going to see the word channels. And when you press on that, you'll see a list of Altspace event channels. And among them, down toward the bottom, you're going to see Ravenhole events, like it says in the sound booth up there. And when you click on that, you get taken to our event channel. And there, you'll see all these products listed on the left-hand side of the page with links to them if you want to try any of them out. Also, you'll see at the very bottom a Join Discord button if you want to ask us any questions, hang out with us, or help us put on events like this. Also, you'll see the most important button on the internet. That's where they keep it on our event page. Bet you didn't know that. All right, it's a subscribe button. And when you press it, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. We don't get paid to do this, so it feels good every time we see that number go up. So if you do that, it's a great way to say thank you. All right, now we are going to be taking your questions now. So I'm going to make a raise. I keep pressing the wrong button on that one. Here we go. I'm going to make a raise hand button appear as if by magic on your lower right. If you press this, I'm going to see your name appear up on the list there. And I'll call on you, and I'll get to feel like a radio host. While we let the right list fill up, if you're on Twitter and you want to follow us, you can find us by going to @__Uncanny Valley. I know it looks like 1_, but it is actually 2. All right, let's see who we got here. We only got 1 here. We got Queen Core. I don't see the full name, so I'm just going to guess. Maybe it's Corn. Let's see. Where are you? Queen something. Queen Core. Might be Corn.
Here.
Corn something. There we go. There you are. I see. Oh, wait. Corgi. Man, why? Okay. And they cut off the name, and it's like a shot in the dark when you do it. And like, so, okay. Queen Corgi. What's your question? Comment? Anything like that? What's up?
What?
You raised your hand. You pressed the button by accident?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That does happen, actually. No, that's cool. Don't worry about it. That's why I was calling on you, because you were on the list. But we'll take you off of there. No problem. I also see a hand going up in the back there. You want to just press that raise hand button. It's Bosun21. I'm horrible at reading these names. Bosun21, where are you? There you are. What's up? You have a question?
Hi.
What's going on?
Thanks for the enthusiastic explanation. I loved it. You were really cool. And
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask one thing. Have you ever experienced like eye soreness after prolonged uses of VR?
Yes. Yes. You know what? VR is unusual in it takes a while to get your VR legs, right? And what I can say is if your body is giving you any discomfort, the best thing you can do is just come out, right? Eventually, gradually, the more you do it, you'll be able to stay in longer and longer. You certainly don't want to hurt yourself. All right, so if you're getting like, dryness in the eyes, I mean, there's some stuff you can do, like there's like a nighttime mode that you can set in the settings out there in the Oculus main menu, and this will translate the colors to maybe be a little bit softer for you, so maybe, it won't give you as much eye strain. Maybe you want to play with the distance between the lenses. On the lower left of the headset, you're going to find a slider, and this will change the distance between the lenses, and that can make it more comfortable. But it's the kind of thing where what works for you, Bosun21, is not going to work for Segway Dave here. Segway Dave might be like, I never get dizzy in VR. My eyes are always comfortable. And matter of fact, I feel more comfortable in VR than I do in the real world. And so everybody's gonna have a very unique and individual experience. And that's why it's kind of tough to say, well, this is how you solve that, right? The best thing you can do is just keep at it, but listen to your body. If you're feeling that you're uncomfortable, then the right thing to do is just to pull out so you'll feel a little bit better. And as soon as you feel a little bit better, maybe all you needed was a glass of water and you come right back in. Head on to the next event. That can happen.
Yeah, just
all right, let's
listen
see
to
what
your
else we
body
have
and
here.
keep trying different things. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But I would play with the lens distance. I would play with the nighttime mode, trying to get the different color balances. I would try playing with the different display settings that they have in Altspace. And all this stuff, can work together to reduce your eye strain. But what that formula is, only you can know. All right, and you're going to have to experiment to find out what that is. Don't give up. Worth it. All right, because it's really great experience. All right, now I see that we do have more questions up here, but we're about out of time, so we are going to be taking everybody flying. But if you do have more questions or comments, we'll take them there. The way we're going to transition to that world is really cool. So even if you know how to fly, I think you'll enjoy this. What we're going to do now is we're going to press this big red shiny button, and when I press it, what's going to happen is you're going to see a Ravenhole Talon hovercraft, which you can actually fly if you want to. It's going to fly down the road here. It's going to go up over those trees. It's going to land in that backyard area. We're going to go on out and meet it and take it out there. But I am going to unmute everybody because I love hearing the reaction to this thing that still hasn't gotten old yet. And if you guys want, I'm taking a stage blocker, or if you guys want to come up here and help me push the button, you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this button right here. Anybody want to help me push it? You can. All right. Ready on 3. You're 1, 2, 3.
Ravenhole Talon aircraft en route to your position.
Here it comes. There it goes. All right, we got to go catch it, everybody. Let's catch it. Now, listen, if you've learned anything here today, please share it with all those you come in contact with. Like maybe, you see somebody in a campfire and down low and you're like, what's wrong? They're like, I'm stuck on the ground. Just tell them to push down the left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because it helps somebody. And so we're going to head out. Let's see, it's coming down now. And it's going to pop out a blue portal. and we're going to go in there to take that to the academy. Thanks for coming, everybody, and here it is.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Raven Hall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody. You've been a great audience, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.